So the topic today is, if you need to forgive someone, watch this video. Do not skip a second of this video. Watch this video because we're talking about forgiveness. You guys, and welcome back to my channel, y'all. Alright, so thank you for coming back, watching another video. Before we get started, the first thing we got to do is pray. I'm going to insert a prayer here. I want you to pause the video and say this prayer with me. Okay, so now that you said the prayer and God is about to be in your path, okay, because you have cleared the way, I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update on the story I was talking about when I said that I had to let go and I was doing this business deal, right? So I want to give you an update because this is what's making me talk about forgiveness, okay? And all right, so before we get started, make sure you came prepared, all right? Make sure Bible, check. Notepad, check. And you know your girl is gonna have her dictionary, okay? Because we talking about the Bible, we need to make sure that we come prepared. When I'm speaking to you, I want to make sure that I'm prepared. I'll have my Bible, my notepad for the notes that I'll take down, and the dictionary just in case. Because, you know, we water down words a lot. We water down a lot of words, and we don't always necessarily use words the way they're meant to be used, okay? So that's why I come prepared. The topic today is, if you need to forgive someone, watch this video. Do not skip a second of this video. Watch this video because we're talking about forgiveness. All right, so I want to go back to that story that I was telling you about, the business deal that I was doing, right? I said I'll update you on it. And I think because I was able to let go, which is one of the pillars of forgiveness, is to let go. I think in that moment of me using wisdom and letting go, you see I'm smiling, right? It actually ended up turning out to be beautiful. And it made me understand the power of forgiveness. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to share this with my YouTube brothers and sisters. I can't wait. I'm excited. You see my face, like I can't stop smiling because I'm really excited because I just learned a new armor of God, and I'm taking that with me from now on. I'm taking that with me. So I'm excited. So with that being said, let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. And I wrote down three subjects that I want to talk about, 3 words that I found to be very important words with forgiving. And in order, I'm going to do understanding first, courage and to be courageous, and the last third step will be letting go. Let go. All right, so understanding, right? And why you needed to forgive. So we know that understanding is an agreement, right? You need to agree as to what happened. So you can control how people switch or how they be double-minded. You can only control how you act. So I was sharing with you, like, you know, he completely just changed and his behavior became extremely precarious and mischievous. And I started to pay attention to who I was becoming in that moment, not who he was becoming, because a person gonna be who they gonna be. But you have to pay attention to who you become in the moments of vulnerability, right? So I started to pay attention because of wisdom, okay? And I'm like, okay, I don't like how I'm acting right now. I don't like the tone that I'm using. I feel like I'm getting aggressive, and I'm a woman. I'm soft, I'm delicate. I don't need to be that way. So, you know, I listened to the Holy Spirit tell me to let go. So I let go and I said, I'll tell you how everything went. So I went back and we ended up discussing everything, and just I came in with peaceful vibes, good energy, calm. He was not peaceful at all, but it's okay. It's okay. God told me, he was like, I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna work on him. You just worry about you. And that's what forgiving is to worry about you. Worry about you. You have to forgive yourself. And you know what? Genesis 45, the 5th passage, it says, but now do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourself. Do not be grieved or angry with yourself. And a lot of times when we get into vulnerable environments, we see how a person's acting and we don't see how we're acting. So you need to pay attention to your actions rather than the person that you're having a disagreement with actions, right? So understanding is a extremely valuable piece of the puzzle of forgiveness, right? Understand what happened. So when I came home, and I did the video, and then I kind of thought about it, I'm like, wow, this man, he probably do this all the time. He's used to that anger. So I can't let him, control me, right? And I was like, I'm gonna see what happened. Like, I'm not gonna hold any grudges. I'm not gonna be upset. I'm not gonna be angry. I'm really just gonna let it go and let God. Like, a lot of times we just have to let God be God, right? And then clearing those pathways for God to be God in our lives. So with that being said, the courage, right? Courage is a quality of mind or temperament that enables one to stand fast in the face of opposition, danger, or hardship. So that was an oppressor in that moment, and I had to stand fast to realize that, and with understanding. So I had to have the courage to be like, I know this energy, and I'm not for it, okay? And with courage, I put be courageous, because courage, right? I'm already, is a quality of mind, right? I'm controlling my temperament, but I also have to be courageous. I have to be brave. I have to be unafraid, and I have to be fearless, because those are not things of God. God is a brave God. God is he's not afraid, and he has no fear. Okay, so I had to make sure I get those things out of my system, and inviting certain energies, right? Certain spirits, all from demonic energies and spirits. You are inviting the devil to work in your life when you become as angry as the person that's oppressing you, right? You have to be temperament. You have to be calm. You have to be elegant and graceful, okay? You let them carry on, and you carry yourself. So yeah, just be courageous. Be courageous in situations of fear. Be courageous in situations that you may not have control over, right? So yeah, courage and also being courageous, right? So that's what I did, and then just let it go. Let it go. But then I had to dive deep into letting go. And, I did all those things in that moment. I was understanding. Eventually, I did have courage, and I was being courageous. And I let go in that moment. And that taught me that I was able to forgive. And so now, I'm like, I have to go back and see this person. I need to forgive them before I see this person again, because we're doing business, and I don't want to go in there with holding on and having resentment to what occurred, right? Because I let it go. So I'm like, well, what is forgiveness? Like, how do I forgive God? Like, how am I supposed to forgive this? Like, how do I forgive this, still do business, and I already let it go. Why do I have to forgive it? And God's like, no, you let go, great, but you have to forgive. So then I started to do a little more intense research on forgiveness. And I looked up I researched the word forgive. And when in my searches, one of the definitions, because in words there'll be multiple definitions, and one of the definitions was to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, a flaw, or mistake. And when I read that, I said, oh my God, yes, I forgive him. I'm not gonna be upset and angry. I'll let that go. I forgive him. I said, but now I need to, when I read that and I read offense, a flaw, a mistake, I said, I need to start boxing and what I need to forgive, right? And those three things was, I have to start asking myself, was that an offense? Was that a mistake? Or was that a flaw? That way I'm able to forgive based on the scenario, right? And then I also need to know how to let go, right? Some situations, like a mistake and a flaw, those you let go, like you let go of the anger from it. You let go of holding on to it because you're like, that's a mistake. Like my 8-year-old spilled something on the sofa, right? That's a mistake. She's not gonna purposely turn it around and spill it. Chances are it's gonna be a mistake. I have to let that go. I can't be angry about it. I gotta let it go because I can replace this. I can't replace her mental health, right? It takes a lot for people to recover from mental health. So, but I can replace this sofa. So, that was a mistake. I'm letting it go. Now, when I realized that situation with the gentleman that I was working with, that's a flaw. His character is flawed, right? He can speak to women in a degrading manner. He is hasty when it comes to and he has a very I'm sorry, you know what, I don't want to speak bad about him because I forgave him, but I feel like that may be a flaw in him because he wasn't trying to offend me. He can't because he don't know me. So that is a flaw in his character. So that's why I was able to say, you know what, I'm gonna let it go because his character is flawed and I can't control that. He has to get right with God so God can control that, and he has to get the understanding and knowledge because baby, you're not taking that from me. I got it. So I categorize that situation as a flaw. But we may have situations where it be offense, and the offense is what I realized that I struggle with forgiving. I struggle with forgiving offenses because I learned that offenses are usually coming from a person that you respect, and chances are they don't respect you. So with that being said, that also plays a part in having expectations for people. And I realized, I started to think of all the people that offended me and in my life, and it usually was someone that I knew and trusted and had expectations for. So I'm like, oh my God. I started to write it down because I wanted to, see who I have to forgive in the areas of my life and separate them, right? Do I have to let this person go, or do I have to let the situation go? And the way you need to identify that is to know if it's a flaw, a mistake, or an offense. And a flaw and a mistake, you can let the situation go. An offense, you have to let the person go if it continues to happen over and over and over and over again, because at that point, they don't respect you, okay? And I'll go more in depth about that because I also want to do, I'll go more in depth about that. And, when something is offensive to you, you have to let go of the expectation of that person, right? Because you'll let go of that situation, which is the expectation of the person. So that's the first God that you let go of, letting go of my expectation, right? So then an offense occur again, and you're like, okay, so now what do I have to let go? Right? So then you're going to say, are you going to keep letting go of situations that are occurring, or when do we realize that this is somebody that you need to let go because their spirit is tainted and they continue to offend you? And the only way you're going to be able to forgive them is by letting them go out your life. You have to remove them out of your life, let them go, so that way you have let go of your anger, you have let go of being upset. Because if a person's constantly bringing you to be upset, angry, and resentful, then they are going to constantly offend you, which is going to stop you from forgiven. And when we forgive, that's an armor. That's an armor of God. And when you leave out your home, you're supposed to have the armor of God on you. And there's a bunch of armors that we have. I believe it's called the seven pillars, the seven armors that you need to have when you leave the home. And one of them is forgiveness, baby. Because when you let go of that fear, God don't work in fear. We know where fear comes from. Fear comes from the beast. So when you don't forgive, you are dealing with fear. And I struggled with fear after my mom died. And I'll do another video with that. But you got to let go of that beast, right? You got to let go of the beast of not being brave. You got to let go of the beast of being afraid, okay? And walk in the armor of God. And one of the armors is forgiveness. Use that. That is your protection, your guiding, your healing, your salvation. That is the way you protect your heart, is by forgiving. Because when you forgive, you let go. And you let go in two ways. You either let the person go or let the situation go. But either way, you gotta let go. So by doing that, I ends up having a beautiful experience at the end, business deal. And we were able to talk, communicate. We shook hands. We spoke about possibly doing future endeavors together, which was really cool. And then later on in the day, he texted me to check up on me. And I was like, there you go. And every time we have to allow God to be God. We have to allow God to be God. So if your spirit is telling you to let go, that is one of your guardian angels, and you need to let it go. Let it go. Because what you're letting go is ego and pride. And we know God don't work in ego and pride. Only the beasts work in evil and ego and pride. So let it go. Let it go. Whoever you're dealing with, who is bringing you to anger, who is bringing you to be upset, who is bringing you to be resentful, let it go. Okay? So, yeah, I may do a part 2 of this because I feel like there's more that I need to talk about. But those are the 3 important things that I feel like you need to have in order to forgive. You need to be understanding as to what happened. You need to agree. Like, what's going on? I need to agree with what just happened, right? You need to have courage and be courageous. And you need to let go. And the 2 ways to let go is let go of the situation or let go of the person. And then separate your situation. Separate if it's a mistake, if it's a flaw, or if it's an offense. Mistakes and flaws, let it go. Let it go. That's a situation, let them go. Offenses is a person. If it's repetitive, if the offense is repetitive, you need to let the person go. Okay, so I hope this video is encouraging to you. I hope you are able to let it go today. I hope you are able to forgive, because it's not worth it. And why is it not worth it? Because it brings you fear, it makes you upset, it makes you angry, and it makes you resentful. And God don't work in those areas. God don't work there. So how you gonna invite God into your space and you going into a space that God is not invited, that they don't acknowledge God? Fear, upset, angry, those energies do not operate with the energy of God. It's like oil and water. They don't operate together. Okay? So when you let those things go, you are inviting God into your space, baby. So invite God, keep inviting God into your space. Let go of ego, let go of pride. Let those things go. Let it go. So that way God can be God in your life, because we need him. We can't do nothing without him. So whatever you're doing today, whenever you watch this video, and wherever you go today, and whatever you do today, make sure you do it with kindness, and make sure you stay in peace. And yes, if you've been watching my videos, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. And if you already did all 3 of those, shout out to you. You will be blessed. So thank you again, and until next time, peace.
Bye.